the same part of the brain that affects people that are cocaine addicts, the part that manages that craving and where that craving comes from, is the same part of the brain that causes sugar cravings. That's pretty scary to me. So not only are we dealing with the stresses of life, but we're dealing with the added stresses of the way our hormones are changing. Cortisol, as we know, is a huge one when it comes to our stress, our fight or flight. And when we hit midlife, cortisol can really go on up there and can be a big problem. And then, of course, our estrogen is going down and our progesterone is going down. So all of that contributes to the whole stress thing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anisha, and I'm your host for the Wellness Plus podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined by Lynn Wadsworth, a certified health practitioner and wellness cooking instructor dedicated to helping women navigate the challenges of perimenopause and menopause with ease. Join us as Lynn shares her invaluable insights and practical tips for living a healthier, more energized midlife. Hello, Lynn. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. I'm thrilled to be here.
So, can you start by sharing a bit about your personal health journey and what led you to become a holistic health and wellness coach?
Yeah. So I was a late bloomer when it came to anything to do with health and wellness. And I have been a health coach for 10 plus years. So this is going back a while. And what became the turning point for me was the fact that once we moved to Florida, I started getting migraines on a daily basis. They were really debilitating headaches. So I did start with them when I'd had my first baby with the hormonal change, but I also was a yo-yo dieter and a sugarholic. So I would go home to England and I would pack my suitcase full of Cadbury's milk chocolate, which does not taste the same as it does here. And I would bring it back, stash it in my freezer, and if anybody would dare lay a hand on it, I would go nuts, because truly I wasn't addicted to sugar. And so I found myself going through my 30s. I hit my late 30s and had to have a hysterectomy, a partial hysterectomy, and my health went downhill from there. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, no energy whatsoever. I was working in the corporate world, 3 p.m. You could come in my office. I would very often actually be looking at the screen and I'd be asleep. I had no energy. Getting up, no different. And I had a friend come and visit from England, and she had just been to a nutrition school over there. And just what she shared with me really grabbed hold of me, and it became like an aha moment to me. This is the piece that I'm missing. So, hand in hand, I started at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I also, because my headaches, my migraines were so bad, I was addicted to Vicodin, because they give you more Vicodin than you need, but you can't get Imitrex pills. So anyway, they were holistic in their approach, which I didn't realize when I started there. And of course, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition is all about holistic health. And it was like pieces of the puzzle started coming together for me. And I tried every kind of diet out there, diet centers, injections, you name it, I've done it. But when I went the holistic route, not only did I begin to notice the energy I had in my life, but I lost the weight and I could keep it off. And it was just such a more balanced life. And I figured, if this can help me, I know it can help many women out there who are in the same position as me, facing some kind of disease or something in their life, and they think there's no hope or no help, but there is. I think that most people think, oh, this is going to put me on a strict diet. It's going to be calorie restriction, deprivation, starvation, because that's what we've been taught. I call that the diet mentality. It's a huge misconception out there, because if you go the holistic route, we're actually teaching you a way to not only lose the weight, but to have good health and wellness with longevity, anti-aging benefits. You can live into your 90s, whatever, and you can still be energized. That's one of the big myths. And there is no starvation, there's no deprivation. And certainly the way that I treat people, because I've been there, done that, it's a judgment-free zone. You can blurt it all out. There's going to be no judgment from me. And I think when we reach menopause, this is another thing that we face. You get into your 40s and beyond, and that belly bulge just happens. And you can have been, I can think of my daughter. She's nice and slim, and she starts complaining about this middle that she's starting to get. And I'm looking at her thinking, you really don't know what belly fat's all about, because she's little. But it does worry us in different ways. We think, I'm going to the gym more, I'm dieting, I'm driving myself crazy, nothing is changing. And we have to take a different approach when we get into midlife and we get into that menopausal phase. And I'm all about teaching women how to do that naturally, and to let them know that there is hope, there is a way that you can, as I put it, ditch the belly bloat or eliminate the belly bloat, lose some weight, feel great again, because we're hampered with brain fog, we're hampered with mood swings, we're hampered with hot flashes, or as they call them in England, hot blazes. And there is help and hope. We don't have to immediately run to the doctor, get on HRT and think it's the be all and end all. It may be for some people, but like you're saying, you've had people on the podcast getting to the root cause. And I love that with functional medicine, with naturopathic people, because you can get to the root cause and you can help people so much more easily and in a much more balanced way.
Would you say that you start with nutrition and it's an optimal starting point when it comes to people in midlife?
I start with the mindset piece, because most of us have a really bad mindset when it comes to midlife. We are in a culture that teaches us that when you get to 40 plus, it's the end for you. There's, you're going downhill from there. I happen to believe that life begins at 40. It's a change. It can be a new season in your life. You can have renewed energy, renewed confidence, a better body than you probably ever had, just by following some holistic principles. So really, it's getting the mindset in place for people to realize that this is an age of wisdom. You're bringing so much wisdom to the table that you can share with other people. And you've got so much experience to pull on. And then after we've got the mindset where it needs to be, then the first piece I do is the nutrition piece. So I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian. I teach people holistically how to eat better, feel better, the right foods to eat for your body, because our bodies all react differently. And as we age and as we get into menopause, gosh, I know the biggest one for me was, one of my favorite foods had been yogurt. Loved it, ate a lot of it. I could not tolerate it anymore. And I think for a lot of us, we have to reevaluate. And I love to work with people when they start on this journey with me. I have a guide that helps them not just to know what they're eating, but emotionally how they're feeling when they've eaten it, physically how do they feel when they've eaten it, because there are a lot of things that change, and what you can eat in your 40s may not be the same as what you can eat in your 50s. You've got to get to know your body and know what feeds it and fuels it. There's a misconception here when we get to the years when we're starting to hit menopause, that's perimenopause, and that symptomology varies with each person. So like, although I still had my ovaries, I didn't have very much in the way of hot flashes. Some people, the biggest thing that they have, that they cannot stop these night sweats and these hot flashes, and you'll see women just fanning themselves, and trying all kinds of things to help that. And then another big one, apart from weight, because that kind of goes without saying, we have brain fog. So where we might have been able to focus so easily, our brain becomes foggy, and going the holistic route can really help clear up that brain fog. And fatigue is another one that women feel. And they may have been very, very energetic in their younger days, but now they find they just have no energy to do anything.
Hey guys, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our app, Yoga Plus. You will have access to an incredible selection of videos led by top instructors in yoga, fitness, nutrition, and so much more. Download our Yoga Plus app available on iOS and Android today.